The towering corporate building shimmered under the morning sun. Inside, marble floors echoed with hurried footsteps. Employees moved quickly, avoiding eye contact with one man, Charles Rutherford, the chief operating officer of a billion-dollar firm. Charles wasn't just feared, he was despised. Known for his arrogance and cruelty, he believed respect was reserved only for titles, not people. That morning, the board had gathered for a high-level quarterly review. Everyone was on edge. Charles had a habit of tearing people down in front of others. As he walked toward the conference room, he noticed someone wiping the glass doors with a cloth. A woman in her 50s, dressed in a plain navy blue uniform, quietly doing her job. Charles scoffed loudly. Can't even keep these doors fingerprint-free. What do we even pay you for? She looked up, calm, composed. Good morning, sir. He rolled his eyes. Save it. Try not to embarrass the company when we have guests. Laughter echoed from behind him. Junior staff trying to stay in his good books. The woman went back to her work, unbothered. Minutes later, in the massive boardroom, executives gathered. Projectors on, notepads open. Charles took his usual seat at the front. The CEO, Mr. Langston, entered with two men in suits. Before we begin, we have someone important joining us today. Charles leaned over to a colleague. Let me guess, some consultant to waste our time. The doors opened, and in walked the janitor. But not in her uniform. Now, she wore a sleek business suit, her hair pinned neatly. She looked like she belonged at the head of the table. And that's exactly where she walked. Whispers began. Confused faces. Charles looked stunned. The CEO cleared his throat. This is Dr. Evelyn Moore, Harvard Business School graduate, former advisor to the Department of Commerce, and our newest board member and investor. Charles went pale. Evelyn smiled politely and placed a thick envelope on the table. Charles found his voice. This has to be some sort of joke. Evelyn turned to him, her voice steady. Not at all. I've spent the last 6 months embedded here, observing. Watching how this company treats not just clients, but its own people. She opened the envelope and slid out printed transcripts, photos, emails, recordings. Let's start with how senior leadership speaks to frontline staff. The legal advisor leaned forward, squinting at the papers. His face turned grave. Charles stood up, stammering. This is manipulation. You insulted me before you even knew my name. Evelyn interrupted. Imagine how you treat people when no one is watching. The room was silent. Mr. Langston looked at her. And your recommendation? Evelyn turned to him without hesitation. Immediate termination of Charles Rutherford and mandatory leadership ethics training for all VPs. Gasps around the room. Charles looked around for support, but found none. Security quietly entered. As Charles was escorted out, he paused at the door. Evelyn stood, meeting his eyes. Titles don't define worth. Character does. He said nothing. And just like that, the man who had bullied everyone for years was gone.